Smartsheet MCP is now available, allowing you to unlock the power of AI by connecting Smartsheet to large language models. When this first became available, the most common way to use it was through Claude, but MCP support is now expanding broadly across the AI ecosystem, including platforms like ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, and even Google Gemini. The Smartsheet MCP server allows you to read, analyze, and manage Smartsheet data directly from a chat interface without ever needing to even navigate the Smartsheet interface itself, helping you save time and improve on productivity. In the previous video, I demonstrated how the Smartsheet MCP server can enhance productivity through a real project management use case and explored some practical considerations when it comes to using AI in these kind of operational environments. If you haven't seen that yet, I highly recommend checking that out first. But in this video, I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to configure Smartsheet MCP in Claude, make a request, and also explain the best practices so you can get the most out of this feature. Right now, before we begin with the tutorial, a couple prerequisites that I want to first mention. First, you need a Smartsheet Business Enterprise or AWM plan, and you also need a Claude subscription. If you're currently on the Smartsheet Pro plan and want to explore this feature further, feel free to reach out to us. As a Smartsheet partner, we can help you understand which plan is the right fit for you. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's start with the demo tutorial itself. So first come into Claude.ai and you can see this is the chat interface to interact with Claude. Next, we're going to head over to Customize and we're going to browse plugins. Click Connector under the directory, and here you can see all the MCP apps available that you can connect Claude with. But for this demo, we're going to do Smartsheet, and let's connect to Smartsheet. And now it will bring us to the Smartsheet page in order to enter our credentials. So I'm just gonna pick this account over here and I'm gonna sign in. And here it's prompting us to give access to Claude to do some actions. And what this basically is that the MCP is going to run as a user. So Claude can access what the user account can and cannot access. So in essence, it's mimicking the user of this account. So now that we're happy with it, we're gonna click allow. And if we head back to the connectors, we can see that Smartsheet has been successfully connected to Claude. In this page, we can see the list of actions that the AI can perform on Smartsheet. And as part of the setup of this connection, you can also apply additional permission-based guardrails to restrict certain AI actions. So this could be disabling certain destructive actions over here. But the rule of thumb in general, especially in the testing phase, is to always allow read-only based actions. So as you can see over here, these are the read-only actions, and what I would do is always allow it. And then for additional guardrails, especially around the more sensitive actions like the write and delete tools, I would always allow it or always ask for approval before doing any of these actions. So before actually executing the changes within Smartsheet, it will ask us for permission and we'll first grant that before anything happens. And of course, depending on your use case and the sensitivity of the data in Smartsheet, you can also set custom permissions over here. So now let's go back to browse plugins. And if you remember, I mentioned earlier that there are a whole lot of other tools that you can connect Claude to. And for example, you may wish to connect an email service to Claude, or you can also connect a transcript service over so that AI can retrieve information and additional project context from these communication channels and update Smartsheet data automatically. So now let's just quickly test this out by starting a new chat and asking AI a very simple question to begin with. So list all the projects under the construction governance program. Now for context, the information that I want is inside the project summary sheet contained within the PMO workspace. Now we can see that AI has actually searched for it in the construction governance program and it pulled out a list of projects over here, but this doesn't represent the source of truth that I'm looking for because it also contains inactive and archived projects. Now this highlights one thing that's really important when using MCP, and that is the specificity of the instructions that we're giving it. So because in this case we have Smartsheet assets with similar names across the workspace, it didn't actually know which assets represent the source of truth. So with the example over here, we could actually give it much more specific instructions so that it is able to retrieve the information not only quicker, but also get it right the first time. So with that being said, I'm going to open a new chat, and this time I'm going to give it more instructions such as which sheet to refer to and in which workspace. And let's see how this affects the response. Now, if we look back at AI's reasoning steps, we can see that it immediately searches for the PMO workspace like we told it to, and immediately within that, it was able to find the project summary sheet. And surely enough, with that, it was able to get the right data that we want. Because MCP gives AI a lot of flexibility, you can see that the quality and specificity of your prompts become increasingly important in these kind of larger environments. So the more guidance you provide around where to search, what workspace to use, and what context matters, the more efficient and predictable the interaction becomes. Now, one important consideration when working with MCP-based AI interactions is understanding how access and visibility are handled. Like I showed you earlier, although Claude allows you to specify permission settings for actions, when you give it permission for a certain action, it is able to broadly search across the entire environment, whether or not it's relevant to the task that you're trying to achieve. In smaller or personal productivity scenarios, this flexibility can genuinely be very useful. But in larger or governance heavy environments where workspace visibility and controlled access are important, you may want to consider how broadly you want AI to interact across these business critical systems. And this is one of the areas where a more structured MCP approach inside a platform like Make.com can become compelling. Because instead of AI dynamically searching the broader environment, we can explicitly define which assets it can access and which processes it can execute. I've put together another separate walkthrough showing you how to build a more structured MCP server in Make.com if that is something you'd like to explore. That being said, there is still merit in using Smartsheet MCP. It is particularly powerful in scenarios where you want fast and flexible interaction with your data through natural language. For example, exploratory scenarios where AI searches across multiple sources, occasional insight generation where the question changes depending on the situation. A project manager may simply want to review the latest project status updates, rate logs, and milestone data, and summarize which projects may need attention this week. And that is where Smartsheet MCP can be a very, very strong entry point because teams can explore their data, generate insights, and get value very quickly without needing to design a fully structured process upfront. But if the same analysis needs to happen every day and follow a consistent set of rules, that is where a more structured MCP approach inside Make.com may be more appropriate. If you want to see how both methods compare, I've linked a comparison video below where I demoed the project management scenario from end to end using both approaches. Now, if you're exploring how AI can be operationalized across project delivery, governance, or the broader business operations, feel free to connect with me or leave any questions in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!